This is the pre-event press conference for EFC 120. Live from the World Sports Betting Arena, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Welcome all to EFC 120 pre-event press conference. I can't believe we've actually managed to knock out 120 events. An incredible legacy EFC is leaving behind. Let's get stuck straight into the press conference with questions from the media.
Thanks, Graham. I'll start with the young gun Luke Michael, if I may. I've actually never seen so much gold up there since going to Brown's Jewelry at Hyde Park. But Luke, everyone's going to talk about it's going to be your wrestling against Zakir's Jiu-Jitsu. We always talk about Zakir Badat's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and yet we saw in his last fight absolutely stupendous knockout. What do you think of him as an all-round mixed martial artist, and how are you going to deal in terms of the grappling stakes?
I'm grateful to be here, man, for this opportunity. You know, after winning the middleweight belt back in August, I haven't stopped working. I've just had my eyes firmly set on this goal. I told Graham and Calvin on the day of the fight, when I win, I want to fight for the welterweight title. That's my natural division. You know, I'm strong enough to fight middleweight, but I'm going to be my best version at welterweight. With regards to Badat, he's a great opponent. He's a worthy champion. But at the end of the day, this is my destiny. I've been working for this since a kid. You talk about jiu-jitsu. I've been doing jiu-jitsu since a kid as well, since all my life. I got a purple belt, yes, but I never graded in. I got my purple belt in like 2013. So I just don't grade, but I can grapple. I got jiu-jitsu. I'm going to show it on the 12th December.
Zakir, this one's for you. What do you make of Luke Michael coming down to your division and challenging you as the champion?
No, all respect and fair play to him. You know, everyone aspires to have double gold. It's something that's become quite idolized since Conor McGregor did it initially on the biggest stage, and it's quite a huge platform in which you can then catapult your career ahead. So fair play to him. I can understand why he'd want to come down and get a double belt.
I want to also pose the same question that was asked to Luke. What do you think about his wrestling compared to your jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I think we forget, like I said in the last fight too, this is mixed martial arts. It's not jiu-jitsu, it's not IBJJF, and neither is it NCAA wrestling. It's mixed martial arts, and how you're able to get a synergy between the arts to bring it together in a mixed martial arts stage is the most important. Too many people have fallen into the trap of thinking, you know, because you got great jiu-jitsu, you're going to win, because you got great wrestling. Yeah, it gets you so far, and thereafter you got to be able to mix it up on every level.
Iga. What do you make of now the fight that has materialized within you and Martin? I also know that you guys are former teammates. What's the relationship there?
Thanks, man. So, Martin. To be honest, look, in my mind, when we first got the fight with Kishi, to be honest with you, I knew that he was not going to make it to the cage. You know, so in my mind, when we saw Martin fighting, and we were like, you know what, we got to start preparing for Martin anyways. I mean, that's what's gonna happen eventually. Man, I mean, like, there's not much difference. Martin's like a big brother to me, man. You guys don't understand the kind of relationship myself and Martin has built throughout the years. And, you guys have seen me fight Peter Quilly. You know, it's because of Martin. You know, Martin helped me in their camp a lot, you know. So what I'm just saying is, like, look, guys, we're going to fight. It's business. It's what it is. I have to put my emotions one side in terms of that. But, like, man, I don't see much of a difference. I don't see much of, like, it's going to affect my fighting style or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, like, I say it a lot and people don't understand. I think this is the easiest way to put it out there. Guys, we're not trying to be a wrestler or a fighter or this. You're trying to be the best guy to put it all together. That's what we're looking for here. So, like, it doesn't bother me in any way if it's Martin or if it's anybody or whatever the case is. The only reason why, like, I feel the way I feel right now is because it's Martin, you know, and I've walked a long road with Martin, and yeah.
Martin, I want to come to you. What's your relationship in terms of what the champ has just said? Surely there had been a few things that happened in the gym. How's it going? How's it going into fighting a former teammate?
Yeah, no, I think Igor said it all. You know, we trained together. It was amicable. He's good at what he does. I'm good at what I do. And I just think it's going to be a clash of styles come Thursday. No love loss. We're going to have a whiskey afterwards. We actually had a whiskey 2 EFCs ago laughing about a potential matchup between the two of us. So we thought it was funny, and look, it materialized. And on Thursday, the better man will get his hand raised, and we'll still be friends afterwards. We'll still have a beer, and we'll laugh about it. So yeah, and all respect to him. He's a great champion, 2-division champion, poses a lot of threats. I'm looking forward to the matchup because his wrestling pedigree is really high, and I know he's got a good all-round game. And for me to go out there and beat him says a lot about me as a fighter. So for me, it's not about belts. For me, it's about fighting the best guys in the division, and he is the best at the moment. But I believe I'm better. So, and I need to go out there on Thursday and prove that. And he's going to try and do the same thing, you know. So all respect to him and much love. Thursday night, it's going to be fireworks.
Martin, I'll stay with you if I can. And I want to go back to the fighting style issue. I know it is a cliche, but it is an interesting point technically that with all the respect between you two, you are a different fighter from when you last was a teammate of Igor Cabeza. Going up to CIT, how have you changed as a fighter, and do you think that will provide some surprises in terms of it's almost like a Martin van Staden 2.0 on Thursday?
Yeah, look, my strength on my striking, right? Like, that's what people want to see, and that's what I try and do, is try and knock my opponents out. Going to CRT, we've just refined my wrestling. We've worked a lot on my wrestling defense, offensive wrestling. You're going to see a different version of me when we do make contact in there. And like Zach said, when you step in there, it's not who's the better wrestler. Yes, he might get me down, he might not get me down. It all just depends. A lot of threats to deal with before we even make contact. But when we do make contact, is what I do in those situations is going to be the difference in this fight. You know, you got a lot of stuff to deal with. You know, Igor has his style, but I've got the style to beat his style.
Luke, Michael, question for you. So, you're actually aiming for double champ status at EFC 120. Are you doing this kind of just to follow in the lead of the likes of Igor Cabeza, or is it part of a bigger plan for you, perhaps trying to maybe get the attention of the UFC?
You know, like I said before, after I think I fought Dino Bagatine, I got the title shot at middleweight. I wanted to fight welterweight, but they offered me middleweight. And like I said, I'm strong enough there, I'm explosive enough. Maybe not big enough, but trust me, I'm strong enough. People watch fights and they maybe think I'm too small, but I know I'm strong enough. Regards to the welterweight title, you know, it's my own personal goal. I believe I can make the weight comfortably and safely. And like I said earlier, I just want to showcase my absolute best version, you know. I feel way lighter, more explosive, quicker at this weight, but also like still got the same strength, if not more. So with regards to double champ status, obviously it's inspiring to see the likes of Igor, Dricus, all these guys obtaining 2 titles in 2 different weight divisions. And that's inspiring, man, you know, and I'm going to follow those footsteps on Thursday night at all costs and no matter what.
Zakir Badat, question for you. So, usually whenever you defend your title, you're defending against someone who is not holding gold. Now you have a champion for a challenger. Does this add any pressure to you, pressure for you rather, sorry, at EFC 120?
The belt is a nice thing. A belt is an accolade. It's simply it's a tradition. It's something that's good for marketing. It sells fights and you put gold up here. It's excellent for that. It's like wearing a belt in jiu-jitsu. It shows dedication and time, but over and above that, it's nothing. It's a human event against another human being. I don't care what belt you have around your waist. You don't wear a belt and fight on the inside. So it's just simply, for me, it's a symbolic accolade, but it's not something in which you should so heavily invest yourself into one thing. It's just a belt.
Zach, I'll stay with you. I get the idea that a belt doesn't define you as a fighter, but it's got to be said that for a first title defense, it's a heck of a tough fight for you, considering it's Luke Michael. He's talking about, you know, following in the legacy of greats and what being a double champ would do for him. What would a win over Luke Michael do for you?
Well, what he would do, first of all, would cement myself in the history of mixed martial arts in South Africa, first and foremost. For myself personally, it will mean personal growth and development and being able to gauge myself on the highest level, and then give myself the opportunity to become even better from that. So every fight, every win's just as big as the one before. We get so caught up into looking at the next big thing, and then you forget what the big thing in front of you is. So I take each of those steps as for what they are, and don't make them bigger than what they really are.
Sharon Contender, I stand to be corrected, but I feel like this is the third time that this fight has been booked for you and Bad News. Yeah, what do you make of like having to train for Musa for a third time now?
Hey, what's up? Well, I owe him this fight. We all know what happened a year ago, so I kind of feel like I have to do it. I'm in the exact same position I was 2 years ago before I fought Musa. I took the fight on 10 days' notice. Had the PFL Challenger Series set up for me. Obviously went and I lost the fight. Showtime told me, you know, sit back, get some more experience, and now I'm sitting in the same boat. I don't need to take this fight, but I owe Musa the fight. I'd like to settle the scores, and I mean, who doesn't want to see Sad News versus Contender too? So, yeah.
Musa, what do you have to say to what Shannon has just said? And also talk to me in terms of having now changed gyms, having been from BIA.
Okay. About Shannon, I think Shannon is a hypocrite to begin with. He always say things that he doesn't deliver. First thing first, he said this nonsense that he's saying, that calling me sad news, that I'm gonna be sad after the fight, and he, as I said, he walked out of that, the one being sad. He kept on saying, I'm the one running away. He wants a rematch. He ran away twice. So I hope he better shows up. I hope he shows up this time. He better show up because I've got some punishment lined up for him. I gotta punish him.
You know what? I welcome it. I owe you this fight, and I welcome it.
Bring it
and
on.
It's gonna be a good one.
Bring it on. Bring it on. I gotta punish you. I gotta show you what we do to obnoxious kids in the hood. You know what we black people do for obnoxious kids. We slash them.
Okay, Daddy.
Yeah, you're gonna call me that after that. So about the new gym, yeah, I like the environment. It's different from BIA. It's quite different. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Brothers in Arms, but there is some difference, a big difference that is there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to showcase what I've been doing in Infinity MMA.
Graham, question for you. Regarding the fight between Musa Sitwape and Shannon Contender, is this fight going to have any implications on the bantamweight title scene, or is there any other fight at EFC 120 that could provide a challenger for Faiz Jacobs?
So this is actually a featherweight fight, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not going down again.
Yeah.
I'm a one-man show, so I can't do it.
Don't confuse me. No, it's a featherweight fight. But on the Faiz topic, yes. So we actually have stitched up a fight with Sibusiso Sevendle. And that fight was actually supposed to be a #1 contender fight. He'd originally taken it and it fell off. We've managed to recreate a fight there. So that's definitely going to yield a champion in the bantamweight division to challenge Faiz. But a lot of moving parts there. Faiz will be out for a little while. He's got some stuff he's got to sort out. So we're probably only going to see him resurface in April, May again. So we'll have some time to build up a good contender. But there's always guys floating around there. Azias Chitamba should have been in the mix, but his issue was pure work. He couldn't get the leave to actually attend the fight.
Graham, whilst you got the mic in your hand, big disappointment on this card is the third title fight that's fallen off because Jess got injured in her fight against Felista. EFC's done a lot of good female fights this year for women's mixed martial arts on the African continent. Juliet's fight most recent, obviously. Are we rescheduling that title fight?
Yeah, so we'd originally offered it to Kaylee. We wanted Kaylee to take it up. She had fought in the US, I believe, and she'd just come out of a camp and couldn't cut the weight in time to take that fight up. So we definitely feel like Jess is still the girl, and Felista's the girl. I think that's the fight we want at the strawweight division. We're going to schedule it for the first event of next year, and then hopefully Kaylee's sticking around in the country, and then she can challenge the winner.
Graham, staying on you. To my understanding, I know that Ntando Zondi and Nathaniel had been booked for this fight, for this card. But I know that also Nathaniel had pulled out. So is Ntando still on the card?
Yeah, bizarrely enough, kind of speaks to the December world. December fight cards have inherently yielded the best fights because everybody wants to get on them, and we book those fights well in advance, like we do with most of the fights, but they just seem to be saturated with a lot of talent. And then when the fights, if they fall apart, they're so hard to replace because the level of guys that are on there, you can't just throw willy-nilly fights together, you know? There's not a lot of journeymen that'll take up that opportunity or newbies that want to jump in on the December card headlined by these huge names. So, with the Zondi issue is his fight fell apart. Nate pulled off the fight card. We then remade and as Yashi pulled out of the fight with Sibusiso Savendle, we've put Ntando Zondi against Sibusiso Savendle, which is actually a mega fight. I mean, you get the best flyweight, best bantamweight pitched up against each other. That's going to yield the number one contender either way for us going into 2025 for sure.
Question for Ega Kabesa.
Yeah?
Ega, the last time that we saw you in the Hex, you put on one hell of a performance. Should we expect the same from you, another level of explosiveness at EFC 120, or are you just going to take it chill this time?
Yeah, look, I think the fights will play out like it should. You guys are putting you on the spot. Look, so I think what will happen, it will determine on the kind of pace Martin sets, you know, if he's willing to go through the whole round and you know what I mean. It all depends on the opponent, man. Like, I've got no control on when the fight's gonna end. I've got control over my performance, and if my performance is too much, then you're gonna have to just, you know, step aside. Or if it's not enough, then I have to go pick it up. But I mean, it is what it is. At the end of the day, I'm just gonna rock up in there, set a nice tempo, and go through what I have to go through, man. There's a lot of things that I was sharpening again. Like, we did a lot of other stuff that we used to do back in the days, and it just feels good to be like, yo, I need to try this old trick out again and see if it works, you know what I mean? So hopefully it gets to that, but if it doesn't, I mean, it is what it is. I just know that for a fact that my hand's gonna get raised. I mean, I feel it in my bones. It's just what it is, you know what I mean? I feel it, I know it. My work rate is high. My skill level is probably the highest in the whole of the organization. So I just feel like I'm on a different level right now, man. Like, I'm just waiting for someone to ask me how I'm feeling, you know what I mean? It's like I just tell them I'm feeling undefeated. That's it, you know? I'm just saying, man, like, I feel I'm in a good space right now in my life as well. So, man, that's my world. I love it. I can't wait. I think it's just going to depend on the opponent always.
Martin van Staden, question for you. Ega Kabesa always says that there's levels to this, right? Do you feel as though at EFC 120 on Thursday night, you will be at that level where you can dethrone him?
Listen, I think I've had more fights, street fights than Iga's had fights. I think I've got 21 stoppages in my career, TKOs. I think I've had more finishes than he's had fights as well. I've been around the block twice. I'm very experienced. I know my style. I know what he's going to bring to the table. Nothing's going to bring is going to surprise me. I've been in bad positions. I haven't been finished in a long time. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I think, listen, he's confident. I'm confident. It's going to make for an amazing fight. I know that I will touch him, and I know that I will knock him clean out. And I've done that many times to many opponents, guys that have never been stopped, guys that have never been knocked out. That's what I do. And Thursday night's going to be no different. Much respect to him. He's going to try and impose his will, but I will touch him. And when that happens, he'll be very surprised.
Yeah, man, that's the kind of fun stuff about fighting Martin. Yes, I don't understand. You guys don't understand the kind of joy that's happening in me right now. You know, you fight somebody that's inexperienced and like so loud, and all of a sudden, experienced guys will tell you, listen, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I love it. I love it. I mean, for me, there's a big gain. I mean, I'd rather fight Martin 20 times before I fight someone like Humphrey, to be honest. Like, I feel like every time I go up against Martin, there's something for me to learn, you know? Like, you learn. If you're not learning in competition, you're not learning in training. That's for sure. You know, so like guys like Martin is amazing to fight. Someone like him. I'd love to fight more experienced guys than underexperienced guys. I mean, it is one of those things, and I love it. And I love the fact that his striking is so good. Like, listen, guys, don't be a fool. His striking is good. I love it. You know, yeah, man, it just brings the best out of me. You know, if you want to see good competition, let the other guy bring the best out of you. Trust me, you'll be shocked with what your body can do.
Martin, I'll come back to you then, because Igor's comparing, you into other opponents he's had in the past. As you say, you probably had more finishes than he had fights, but where does Igor Cabeza stand in some of the greats that you fought in your entire career?
He's definitely one of the best that I'm going to fight in my career, but I've also fought so many top guys at different weight classes, bigger guys, stronger guys, managed to win. So for me, it's just about that challenge. He's going to bring his tricks, but I know how good I am, and I know what my skill set is, and I know where I'm good. And I've got a lot of power, I've got a lot of speed, and my timing is phenomenal. The only way he's going to win this fight is if he sits on me like some of my other opponents have done. And the only reason that happened is wrong weight cut. Not making excuses, but different nutrition, different diet, it does affect your power. At lightweight, I'm a big lightweight and I'm a strong lightweight. This is my weight division when it comes to size. I'll probably outweigh him about 6-7 kilos in there, and I know he knows how to manipulate weight. But when you get hit by someone that's a lot bigger than you, it feels different. I feel it in sparring when I spar with guys that are 100 kilos or 85 kilos or 95 kilos. That makes a difference. And if he wants to set the tempo, I can keep up with that tempo. I've been there. I've fought many 5-round fights. And if you actually go back and watch my fights, I get stronger as the later rounds get. I have opponents run away from me the 5th round just to try and get away. That's where I thrive. So let's see. It's going to be an interesting matchup, and I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, got a lot of respect for him. He's a phenomenal athlete, but I know I'm better, and I'm going to show that on Thursday.
This is an indulgent question for me, but whilst you're there, talking about sparring with bigger guys, you've been in fight camp with JT Botha, who's also taking on Kulakani Hlongwa on the main card. Just give us an idea of how JT Botha is looking, because it's been a while since we've seen him. It's an indulgent question, so please indulge me.
No, hundreds. So JT is an awesome human being. He works very hard. He's got a very good steel set. I know he's taken some time off to sort out his gas tank, and we've been working with a very good conditioning coach. He looks ready, man. He's a beast. He's a phenomenal specimen if you look at him. And I think he's going to show up on Thursday and show what he's all about. I think he's gonna show everybody. It's really his coming out party on Thursday.
Luke Michael, tell me about back and forth that's developed between you and Shadrack. I know also that Chelsea had gotten involved. So can you enlighten me in your division? What's going on?
I'm not giving any focus or attention to that. Shadrack, I'm focused purely on Badat. Shadrack, his last fight, that speaks for itself. I got no comment on Shadrack. I'm focused on a worthy opponent next to me. He deserves all my attention and focus. I've been focused on that for the last 4 months since I beat Yaku. The Monday after that fight, I was back in the gym, training, working for this very moment right now. I don't care about Shadrack. I'm focused on becoming double champion.
Alrighty. And with that, we conclude EFC 120. On a special note, I'm incredibly proud of the guys that are up here and the fight card we've put together. It's very rare that we get to match these types of title fights, because most often it's the #1 contender who gets to fight the champion. And I think stylistically, the welterweight title fight is huge. And I think in terms of legacy and the type of fight that's going to be a dog fight, because I know that those two guys leave everything in the hexagon, Martin van Staden and Igor Cabeza is going to be mega. So stay tuned this Thursday, 12th of December, EFC 120. What a huge fight card.
Every year, Africa's greatest sports promotion traditionally ends the annual calendar by going out with a bang. But 2024 is going to hit a whole lot differently, with 2 thrilling title fights. EFC 120 on the 12th of December will be a Christmas collision of combat unlike any other. It's a clash of the titans as Martin van Staden challenges Igor Cabeza for Smiley's lightweight strap. And finally, Zakir Badat defends his welterweight belt against the current middleweight king, Luke Michael.
This is just the beginning.
Our goal is to be double UFC champion. That was nothing.
It is the most explosive time of the year to ensure the festivities of fists kick off the hellacious holidays of mayhem. EFC 120. Badat versus Michael, Thursday, 12th of December. Broadcast and ticket details at efcworldwide.com.
Let's start face-offs with Musa and Shannon. Alrighty. Martin van Staden, Igor Cabeza. Let's have it. And finally, we get two champions in the face-off. Middleweight champion Luke Michael and Zakir Badat, our welterweight champion. Let's have it, gentlemen.
...2024 is going to hit a whole lot differently, with two thrilling title fights. EFC 120 on the 12th of December will be a Christmas collision of combat unlike any other. It's a clash of the titans as Martin van Staden challenges Igor Cabeza for Smiley's lightweight strap. And finally, Zakir Badat defends his welterweight belt against the current middleweight king, Luke Michael.
This is just the beginning.
Our goal is to be double UFC champion. That was nothing.
It is the most explosive time of the year to ensure the festivities of fists kick off the hellacious holidays of mayhem. EFC 120. Badat versus Michael, Thursday, 12th of December. Broadcast and ticket details at efcworldwide.com.